Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about the state of the AK market here in the United States. Right now we're kind of in a bit of a quandary with regards to AKs in the US. We have historically been able to get our hands on a long time ago Chinese AKs, but those dried up in the 90s, and then Russian AKs throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, were flowing into the country. But that's changed. Kalashnikov Concern, who purchased Izhmash, who is producing the Sega rifles, has been hit with sanctions because of the war in Ukraine with Russia. So we're no longer seeing the Segas coming in. With regards to the Veprs, another high-quality AK imported out of Russia, they're not hit by sanctions, but we have a hard time getting them. We don't even know who's importing them right now. At one point, Wolf was bringing them in. We were getting them in 7.62 by 39 and 5.45, as well as 308 and 54R. But right now, we're just seeing kind of the oddball calibers coming in and trickling in at that, the 54Rs and the 308s. We can't get the calibers we really want, which is the 7.62 by 39s and the 5.45 guns. So we don't know what the status of the Wassers are either. Century's telling us that right now the Romanian factories hit with a whole bunch of requests for military contracts, therefore their civilian contracts aren't being fulfilled, and that means no Wassers. So really, we're kind of in limbo for imports. About the only thing that's coming in right now are Bulgarian AKs via Arsenal. So that's leaving a big hole in the market, and that's leaving room for American AK manufacturers to step in and fill that void. A number of companies have sprung up over the last few years. More and more every year. Companies you've never heard of in many cases are springing up to fill that void. What we're doing at Copper Custom and here on the Military Arms channel is taking a look at all these different U.S. manufacturers and seeing who's making good quality stuff. And one of the rifles we want to feature this afternoon is manufactured by a company called Petronov Armament. And they make AKs. Atlantic Firearms has been selling their AKs for some time. We've decided to pick them up over at Copper, and that's what we're going to feature this afternoon are these Petronov AKs. And before we get into the Petronov, let's take a quick look at this Bulgarian 104 UR. It's an Arsenal rifle in 5.45. This is an SBR, and it is suppressed with a Griffin Armament Rec E5. Do a little bit of shooting with this. Let's jump over and take a look at the Petronovs. Who says you can't suppress AKs? That's absolutely gorgeous. Let's take a look at that Petronov. Here are two of the Petronov rifles that we brought out this afternoon to shoot. This is what we call the Russian Red. This is built on a Polish parts kit using a Morrissey receiver. Now Morrissey stamps the receivers for Nodak Spud, and Morrissey and Nodak Spud are known as the best AK receiver manufacturers in the United States. So you have a Polish parts kit, a Circle 11, on a Morrissey receiver with a US nitrided barrel, and the whole gun is finished in gun coat, and it's laser bore sighted from the factory by Petronov. Now the wood stocks, they're also surplus. They've just been refinished with this nice red color. The reason we call it Russian Red, even though it's a Polish and US made gun. But it's absolutely a beautiful package. Good looking gun. You'll notice over on the other side, the white lettering that's done to the receiver here, to the trunnion. And even the rear sight has the white lettering done to it. So it's nicely finished with a lot of attention to detail. Now, once again, they do laser bore sight these from the factory, so your sight should be pretty close to being on when you take it out of the box to go shoot it for the first time. You'll probably have to make some minor adjustments. But this rifle sells for $899, and that means it's well underneath that $1,000 threshold. A lot of people in the US gun market don't want to pay $1,000 or more for a rifle. Understandably so. These are tough economic times. So these rifles come to market, well under $1,000. $899 for that one. Now for $879, you can buy pretty much the same rifle in terms of features, parts and stuff that's built from, except now the gun's been distressed. This is what we call our battlefield pickup, and this is being made exclusively for Copper Custom. $879. Again, a Polish Circle 11 parts kit, US nitrided barrel, Morrissey receiver. The wood is left in its original surplus state. The gun is sanded down, bead blasted, refinished, and then distressed from there. So all this wear that you see on it is all done by Petronov to make it look like it's highly worn, but it's brand new parts in the case of the receiver. It's refinished Polish parts in the case of the parts kits itself. So there's no rust or anything on the gun. although a little patina wouldn't be a bad thing. I jokingly tell the guys around the shop we ought to leave one laying out in the rain for a little while and let it get a nice patina on it and then rub it off. It'd only add to the effect. But the gun will ship with a tattered and torn surplus sling, and even the magazine is a steel magazine, and it's going to be distressed just like the rest of the rifle. So this is a really cool gun. This is one of those guns I think is really, really good looking. I could see this hanging in my office as a decorative piece. I don't know too many people that would decorate their offices with AKs, but I would. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you would too. And this would be a prime candidate for that. All right, let's do a little bit of shooting with these rifles and see how they shoot. Before we start shooting these rifles and get them all dirty on the inside, I want to show you what they look like when they're new. This is the Russian red, and look at the attention to detail. You'll notice the white lettering on the bolt, the refinishing. It comes with the protector on the charging handle. Very nicely done. Seems to be an extremely high quality build. The dust cover, the lettering, it's whited. The serial numbers, you'll notice match where they can. I can't guarantee that they're all going to match. And then the inside of the rifle. The gun coat finish looks really good. I like the white lettering again on the trunnion. Just a lot of attention to detail in a very nicely made gun. Now, if you take a look at the distressed battlefield pickup, what's kind of crazy is they've gone so far as to distress the inside of the gun as well. They've polished these rails. They've taken the finish off everywhere inside the gun, even on the bolt carrier. They've refinished the bolt carrier, then they've distressed it. It's really interesting, again, the level of detail in the build. If you take a look at the top cover, it's distressed all over. They haven't whited the serial numbers, of course. And again, recoil spring and guide, all distressed. The guns fit nicely together. Everything's very smooth, as it should be. So they're good looking, good feeling guns. I almost feel bad about dirtying this one up, but not so bad that I won't do it. The Russian red really is a gorgeous rifle. I really like the attention to detail on this gun. Right down to the white lettering, even on the bolt carrier. I mean, that's just so cool. It's a little things like that that kind of flop my mop. There you go. All right, now let's go dirty them up. All right, guys, let's get this Russian red running. I'm using some Tula ball ammunition. I picked this stuff up from luckygunner.com. I recommend you guys swing by and check them out. This is a PMag. This is a second generation PMag. So it fits very tightly, but it has the steel reinforcements on both the front and rear of the magazine, but it does fit nicely into the rifle. Again, it's very snug. Doesn't wobble around at all. Let's see how this baby shoots. Yeah, those sights are spot on. All right, let's go for the little orange thing out there. Yeah, these sights are actually right on the money. Let's see how I can get this Tapco going here. Yeah, that trigger's really nice. You can get this thing ripping pretty good. Recoil is exactly what I would expect. Seems to be gassed properly, and the sights really are spot on. All right, let's grab that battlefield pickup and see how she does. All right, let's go ahead and shoot the battlefield pickup. Again, we're using the Tula ball ammunition from Lucky Gunner. You can see that the magazine is distressed to go nicely with the gun, so I'm not going to use the Magpul magazine in it, although it would work just fine. Charge the rifle and see how close these sights are to being on as well. These look like they're just a little bit low. There we go, spot on. Runs perfect. Boy, that's a nice rifle. I like it a lot. That is gorgeous. Let's do some more shooting. All right, we're gonna shoot some ice. The safety Sallies always get their panties in a bunch when we do this, but I can guarantee you that direction, there's nothing for miles. Entirely too much fun. Yeah, way too much fun. Somebody should outlaw that. If you guys follow the channel, you'll know that we tested the Magpul polymer magazines a while back before they had the steel reinforcements on the Gen 2s, and we were easily able to snap off both ends of the magazine simply by doing the following test. So how tough are these now? Well, let's find out. In our tests, we were able to damage the front of the magazine by knocking away the polymer around the steel toe. Now we noticed that after having done that to the magazine, I can now easily knock the magazine out of the rifle with the palm of my hand. Not much pressure is required at all. So we have permanently damaged the toe of that magazine, and we've also picked up a 9mm casing. So what we want to find out is two things. Did we damage the rifle? Well, the answer to that question is no. If you look inside, you can see the gun looks just fine. There's no bent parts or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I can take the steel magazine the gun comes with, and I'm not able to knock it out of the gun. It still locks in just fine. So we definitely damaged the P-mag, and that's all that's damaged. But let's find out if the gun will actually cycle some rounds, even though I can easily knock it out of the magazine well. Yep, it'll still cycle, but now I got a speed reload feature. Is it as good as a Bulgarian Circle 10 magazine? I don't know. I just present the evidence. You guys decide what you think of the Gen 2 P-mags. So what we're about to do is extremely dangerous, but it's a very valid testing method. What we're doing is making sure that the weapon can be fired from any position, even when the gun's being held horizontal and fired around barricades, like you might actually encounter on a battlefield somewhere in the world. Yep, passed with flying colors. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at the Petronov rifles. We've been quite impressed with the quality of the builds and the overall attention to detail. I'm going to continue to test the rifles here on the Military Arms channel, but if you want to find out more about these rifles, you can swing by coppercustom.com and ask those questions over there using the Contact Us functionality. Also, if you'd like to support the Military Arms channel, you can buy a patch at Copper Custom. I'll put a link down below. It's $3.99 and it really does help out here on the channel. And if you guys haven't already, please swing by and check out full30.com. It's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best content creators in the firearms space and brought them under one roof, which is full30.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Ha ha ha.